New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy is looking to become the first New Jersey Democrat in 4 decades to win a second term. And he heads into the November 2nd contest against Republican Jack Ciattarelli. Yahoo Finance's Alexis Christoforous caught up with the Republican nominee to get his thoughts on the Garden State's economy, jobs, and the idea of mandating the COVID-19 vaccine. Take a listen.
All we can do, Alexis, is encourage people to get vaccinated. I certainly would. I do believe people have a right to make that choice. And obviously, a great many people have decided not to vaccinate, and that's where we're seeing the hospitalizations take place. My understanding is 99% of those being hospitalized are those that were not vaccinated. I'm vaccinated, and I certainly would advocate for it. Again, I understand people not wanting to make the choice. I support their right to not make that choice, but I would certainly advocate for it. And what we're seeing right now, I think, is pretty strong encouragement to do so. Get vaccinated.
Have you yourself been vaccinated?
I have.
And what do you make of some private businesses, but also some municipalities now mandating that their workers be vaccinated or at least agree to a COVID-19 test on a regular basis?
I know a great many people don't like these employer decisions. At the same time, the Trump employment courts did rule that employers have a right to make this a condition of employment. So here we are today. For a lot of people, I think it's another way of encouraging them in a very, very strenuous manner to get vaccinated. But employers do reserve that right to make this a condition of their employment.
I want to talk a bit about the economy there in New Jersey, continuing to recover, as is the rest of the country during this pandemic. We know that New Jersey is one of the highest tax states in the country. I know that Governor Murphy has implemented a number of new tax incentive programs. But what would you do differently than Governor Murphy to help New Jersey, especially New Jersey's small businesses, if elected?
In 3 years and 5 months as governor, here's what Phil Murphy has done. We now have the third highest personal tax in the nation, the highest business tax in the nation, the highest property tax in the nation. On top of significant increases in the gas tax, he increased tolls. He borrowed $4.5 billion that he didn't need to. And we were told by Phil Murphy that if the country elected Joe Biden, he would get us back the SALT deduction, the deduction on your federal tax return for state and local taxes. That's not going to happen. He's been reckless with regard to our economy. I come from Main Street. I'm an MBA CPA, a 2-time business owner who always met the payroll, signed the front of the check, met the budget, and grew my business. And so I know exactly what we need to do for big businesses and Main Street businesses to make New Jersey a much more compelling place to do business. Let's make the first $50,000 of business income tax-free if you're a sole proprietor on Main Street. This way you can recoup your capital investment quicker and also reinvest in the company. But let's also, for big business, let's adopt Delaware's bylaws for corporate governance. I know Yahoo Finance has always heard of the Delaware Corporation. Nevada did that years ago and things took off there. There is not a single compelling argument that justifies not adopting Delaware's bylaws for corporate governance.
I want to talk a little bit about the labor market, which continues to heal. We now have unemployment across the country at 5.9% on a national level. We know that those extra unemployment benefits are going to go away at the end of September, those federal benefits. Some states have also gotten rid of them a little bit sooner, especially Republican states. But what would your plan be to help small businesses incentivize workers to come back and to continue to heal the job market?
I would incentivize workers to go off by turning off the unemployment spigot. Now, there are hardship cases, and we need to know who those people are and make sure they get their benefits. But on the whole, Phil Murphy's made it way too easy. Stop extending the unemployment benefit. Stop accepting, like 333 other governors around the country, stop accepting the federal supplement of $300 per week. And let's get the Department of Labor to start verifying whether or not you're looking for work as a condition of receiving your benefits. I mean, people are staying home. And this is particularly acute in New Jersey for 2 reasons. We are a small business economy that depends on that portion of our labor force and our Jersey Shore economy. Those business owners along the Jersey Shore only have 13 weeks to make their buck, and they can't find workers. It's because Phil Murphy won't turn off the spigot. So as governor, I would help our small business economy and incentivize people to get back to work by turning off the unemployment spigot while always taking care of those hardship cases.
And I want to get your thoughts on infrastructure. We know that on a federal level, they're planning a $1 trillion package that seems to have now found bipartisan support. But what about in the state of New Jersey? If you look at your record as Assemblyman, I believe you supported Chris Christie's decision to cancel the ARC Tunnel project. That would have increased passenger rail service to Manhattan. You called for the delay of the completion of the Hudson-Bergen Light Rail. What are your feelings on infrastructure, the need for that in your state, and what would you support?
Alexis, I would respectfully disagree. What I supported is if Governor Christie had suspended the Gateway project and keeping the $3 billion in trust to negotiate with New York. He should have stopped the project as he did. New York didn't have a skin in the game. New York needs to have a skin in the game, and this time around, they do. You can't have a thriving economy without a dependable, safe infrastructure. And I support that 100%. I support infrastructure projects because they pay for themselves. They put middle class, everyday, hardworking, middle-class New Jerseyans to work.
You know, finally, and I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, a lot of political pundits say your path to the governorship really depends on winning over moderates and independents in New Jersey, where Democrats outnumber Republicans by more than 1 million registered votes. In the latest polls I saw, Governor Murphy still holds a pretty comfortable lead. How do you energize your base and also bring in those folks on the sidelines?
Well, Alexis, I know you know that in the past 4 decades, no incumbent Democratic governor has been reelected here in New Jersey. Not Jim Florio, not Jim McGreevey, and not John Corzine. Republicans have won 6 of the last 10 gubernatorial races in the state. Over that same 4-decade span, every time a Democrat took the White House, guess what New Jersey did the very next year? Elected a Republican governor. And one other thing to remember, Phil Murphy lost his midterms. 2 years ago, Republicans did something we hadn't done in 28 years. We picked up seats in the state legislature. In my mind, that was the beginning of the people in New Jersey rejecting Phil Murphy's policies. We're right where we need to be, Alexis. I'm very, very confident in our campaign. And in about 100 days or so, I'm confident in the result on November 2nd.